Okay, so go ahead and get yourself into a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. Be on your bum, on your shins. If your if your legs are crossed, if your knees are bent, you can stack your legs one in front of the other. Just take a moment to close your eyes or lower your gaze. Check in with your breath. No need to change or judge it, just checking in. You can do a quick body scan to see if there are any places that may feel a little bit more sore or a little bit more stuck that you want to add a little bit more breath to today. And when you're done with that, you can turn your attention inward to your mind. See if you can just make your thoughts melt away. Maybe what you want to do after that, maybe what you're doing right. In with your body and see if you can find that string coming out of the top of your head and pull it nice and long. Try to find space in the back of your neck, all down your spine. See if you can feel your sit bones rooted into the mat. Maybe the sides of your feet, maybe the outer sides of at least one shin. Can you feel that grounding, that rooting into the ground? That gripping the mat, the backs of your legs, and really envisioning roots growing out of your thighs down through the ground. You use that to help you with your stability. Maybe you leave your legs where they are, nice and rooted, and just lean back a little bit with your spine, keeping it nice and straight. See what happens. If your knees pop up, that's okay. Just as long as the rest of you is rooted down. While you're playing around with that, see if you can work on moving just that spine instead of just leaning back. Maybe you want to make rotations where you're leaving both sit bones completely glued to the mat, but you're rotating that spine in that hip joint. Safer? Make sure you go both directions. And when you're ready, you can make your spine nice and long again. You can inhale in through your nostrils. Exhale out through your mouth. Another like that, this time flutter out through your lips. Maybe one more like that. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes or raise your gaze. And we'll start with reaching the arms up and melting those shoulders down, finding space within that bicep, tucking those ribs back in. Think about your shoulder blades connecting with each other. Maybe do a couple of flexes, shoulder blades in towards each other, then release. And on your next release, we'll lean to one side, placing your hand at the side, and reach over top with the opposite arm. From here, we'll take the shoulder with the arm reaching over, and we'll bring it down to the opposite knee. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling back up. This time you can option to drop that elbow down to increase your stretch. If you can keep both sit bones to the ground. Maybe feel a little stretch in your hips, maybe a little stretch in your side. When you're ready, you can fold forward and we'll just kind of make our way over to the other side, arm over arm, reaching forward. You can start with your arm up in the air, reaching the other arm over top. Give your hips a moment to reset, your knees a moment to reset. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, we'll just fold forward, bringing that shoulder down to the knee. Inhaling back up. And exhaling down. Inhaling back up. And exhaling down. Inhaling back up. And do one more exhaling down. On your next inhale, you can come back up. You can lower that elbow down if that's available to you. Maybe available on one side, not the other. Your knees pop up, that's okay. To make sure your ankles and your sit bones stay rooted into the ground. From here, we can roll forward again. Again, a forward fold can be rounded in your back if you'd like, just nice and gentle. Walk the fingertips backwards. Place the hands behind you so your thumbs are pointing towards the front. And just shine that chest towards the ceiling. See if you can reach that chest past your shoulders. Shine it up. Nice. Breathing here. Our little mini camel. And then we'll come back to a straight spine. And we can reach our arms out to the side in a big T. We'll flex the wrists up to the sky. Bend those fingers if you're like me and you have a hard time doing so. Or make fists if that's better available to you. And just rotate the arms from the shoulder sockets. Getting full rotation in those shoulder sockets. And reaching out to the side, we'll make fists and make biceps. Drop one arm down for robot arms. Make sure your elbow is in line with your shoulder. Mine does not want to be. And then go ahead and switch directions. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again. We'll do a couple more like this. Bring that other arm up to a couple biceps and then reach those arms up top. If your ribs are sticking out, please tuck them back in. Reach with your bicep a little higher, then a little higher, maybe a little higher. And then go ahead and reach those arms out to the sides again. So we're in a nice big T. We'll cross the arms, doesn't matter which one's on top, and give yourself a big hug. You can walk those fingertips back and reach around your shoulder blades if that's available to you. On your next exhale, yeah. Make big T's again. And then exhale, well, sorry, inhale there and then exhale again and switch the crossing of your arms. Opposite arm on top this time. So you can sigh those shoulders down. See if you can walk those fingertips back around your shoulder blades if that's available to you. And when you're ready, you can release your arms out to your big T again. Release them down. Maybe give your shoulders a little shake out. Maybe roll it up and roll them out in both directions. Maybe you want to give your hands a little shake out. You can interlace your fingers and do this. Make sure you go both directions here. Maybe reverse a little shake out this way. You do the Jeff Hardy. And then we'll go into our twists. So go ahead and reach both legs forward. Give your knees a little shake out if you want. Bend one knee into your chest, nice and tight. Give it a hug. Place it on the outside of the opposite leg. We're going to take the opposite arm, reach it into the sky. Check in with your back. I like to hunch over in my twist. So check in with your back. Make sure you have a nice long spine. Go ahead and hook that elbow outside the knee and twist to the back of the room. Inhaling for a nice long spine. Exhaling to twist. See if you can find any space between your hip and your thigh. See if you can find space between your upper vertebrae in your spine and your sacrum. Bring that midsection out like a towel. On your next inhale, you can come back to the center. We'll do a nice little counter twist to the opposite side. Release your leg down, give your knees a little shake out. And we'll hug the opposite leg into the chest, placing it on the outside of the leg. Placing the foot down on the mat, we'll lift the opposite hand as bent knee up nice and tall. Bring that spine up. Hook that elbow to the knee and twist to the back of the room. Your hand behind you can be flat on your palm or up on tented fingers. See if you can find space between that hip and your thigh. See if you can twist your midsection like a cloth, like you're wringing out a towel. And on your next exhale, you can come back to the center. You can do a nice little counter twist to the other side. Release your knee, give your legs a little shake out back and forth. And we'll start, next we'll go to our shins. In your shins, on your shins, stretching your thighs. You can certainly tuck your toes under if that's available to you and you want to do that, but give your thighs a nice little rub, maybe a little warm up. We'll do this nice and slow when you're ready. We'll start with our bum on our feet. Yeah. And then when you're ready, imagine there is a fishing line or string from your belly button pulling you forward. Pulling you more forward than feels right. You can adjust your leg. You can bring your stance a little wider if that helps. Pulling your belly buttons further forward than your chest. Relax your glutes. Relax your jaw. And if it's available to you, go ahead and reach one arm into the air. Exhale it back behind you to find your heel. Keeping that belly button pulling forward. And reach the opposite arm up and then back down behind you, looking for that heel. Continuing to pull that belly button forward, stretching in the front of the thighs. Breathing in for camel. This is especially effective if you do it against a wall. We're going to release the second hand that you pulled up. Bring it back to the front. Release your opposite hand. Bring it back to the front. And your hips will shake out and we'll meet in our tabletop pose at the front of the mat. Palms are underneath elbows, or underneath your shoulders. Knees are underneath your hips. Tops of the feet are glued to the mat. And start with just a few tucks and tilts of the pelvis, just to warm up the back here. And when you're ready, drop that udder down, shine that chest forward again, and inhale for cow pose. Do a couple breaths in cow. Feeling those hip bones pointed towards the sky. Feeling your chest shining through those shoulders. On your next big inhale, you can exhale into cat pose. Tucking those toes under, coming up on those tented fingers. Pulling that belly button towards the spine, rounding in the back and releasing the neck down. Relax your glutes, relax the back of your neck. One big final exhale. And inhale for cow pose. Exhale for cat. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. You can continue to do this motion at your own pace and your own speed, linking your breath to your movement. Warming up the spine. You could introduce optional moves like S and C curves into the spine. You can come back for a child's pose. We'll come forward for a baby chaturanga. And when you've had enough of that, we can come to stillness. And if you have a block or a ball, you want to place it behind your knee, you can go right ahead. If not, you can just keep your knee at a 90-degree angle, flex that back foot, and lift that leg into the air. Exhale the leg back down. Inhaling for 2. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 4. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 5. And then bouncing for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release that leg back. Then we're going to go out to the side for fire hydrants. Lifting that leg up out to the side. Finding equal balance in your hands. Exhaling back down. Inhaling for 2. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 4. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 5. And bouncing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale down. Remove any block you may have or whatever, block, ball, book, whatever. Release your leg back behind you. Lift that toe about an inch off the mat. You can point your toe and we'll lift Inhaling for 1, exhaling down, lifting up for 2, exhaling down, inhaling for 3, exhaling down, inhaling for 4, exhaling down, inhaling for 5, exhaling down. Place that foot back down onto the mat. From here, we'll lift the left arm into the air for our twist. Or, I'm sorry, whatever arm you want until arm for the twist is my left arm. Whatever leg you were just working on. See if you can get those arms a nice straight line. And then we're going to exhale, tuck that arm under, place the outer edge of your shoulder onto the mat. Option to bring that leg behind you and arm in front of you for a nice little stretch. And exhale back down. Lifting that arm back up so you're in your twist. From here, we're going to take the same leg as arm up and just extend it out so you're in a supported side plank. From here, you can exhale that arm back down to the mat. We'll move to the opposite leg, placing whatever kind of prop you want, a block, a ball, nothing. Making a right angle in that knee. And flexing that back foot. Lifting the leg into the air. Trying to keep those hips as square as possible. Exhaling your leg back down. Inhaling up for 2. And exhaling back down. Inhaling up for 3. And exhaling back down. Inhaling up for 4. Exhaling back down. Inhaling up for 5. Exhaling back down. And bringing it up one more time. For a count of 5, 4, 3, 1. And we're bringing that leg back down. We're going to go out to the side for fire hydrants. Inhaling to lift the leg up to the side. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 2. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 4. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 5. And exhaling that leg back down. You can release any props you may have and bring that leg straight out back behind you. And lift it about an inch off the mat and point your toe. Inhaling up for 1. Exhaling down. Inhaling up for 2. Exhaling down. Inhaling up for 3. Exhaling down. Inhaling up for 4. Exhaling down. Inhaling up for 5. We'll exhale down. Inhale up one more time and bounce for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing your leg back down to the mat. We'll lift the opposite, or we'll lift the same arm as leg into the air, opposite arm as before. Straining to make those arms in as straight of a line as possible. Breathing here. Feet glued to the mat. On your next exhale, we'll tuck that arm under, place the outer edge of the shoulder onto the mat. You can reach that hand forward and your leg back behind you if that's available to you. On your next exhale, you can bring that leg back, bring your arm back up into the air. This time, swing that leg around so you're in a nice supported side plank. When exhale to swing that arm back down, bring your leg back so you're in your tabletop pose. Give your hips a little shake, give your wrists a little shake. We'll press back to our downward facing dog. Give your knees a little pedal here. Pedaling out through those feet, stretching in the back of the calves. Pulling those heels down to the mat. You can widen your stance here if that feels good for you. On your next exhale, we'll go ahead and roll forward to plank. Adjust your stance any way you may need to. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, nice big inhale. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Level your knees and down dog. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Breathing here, feeling those feet rooted into the ground. Feel your arches lifted, while the rest of your feet stay grounded. You can release any tension you have in your jaw, any tension you have in your glutes. You can check in with your neck by nodding your head yes, shaking your head no, moving your head I don't know. Your next inhale, place the hands on the shins for a nice long flat back. And exhale to fold forward. See if you can find space in the back of your thighs. See if you can check in with all four corners of the feet. We'll gently inhale, rolling up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. From here, we'll stand in mountain pose. Imagine you have a clothesline or a fence coming across your midsection here. When we fold over, we're going to fold over that fence and let the top half of the body and the bottom half of the body drape over that imaginary thing. So on your next inhale, let's lift the arms up. And exhale to fold forward. Your knees can be bent as deeply or shallowly as you like. If you'd like, you can grab opposite elbows and sway back and forth, maybe to and fro. You can also interlace your hands behind your back if that feels comfortable for you. Or take your peace fingers and grab your big toe. Release your hands wherever they are. Your next inhale, place hands on shins again for a nice long flat back. We'll exhale to melt forward, plant your hands, and step back so you're in a plank pose. From here, you can release any tension you have in your glutes, any tension you have in your jaw, any tension you have in your neck. We'll drop one knee down, slide the other foot over, and come up into that supported shoulder, the supported side plank. If you'd like, you can take that bent knee and slide that foot across so you're in a side plank. On your next exhale, you can bring that arm back down so you're in a plank pose. Opposite leg comes down, other leg swings around, and you come into that supported side plank. Again, if you'd like, you can swing that foot across so you're just in a side plank. Exhale that hand back down. Bring your feet back across so you're in your plank pose. Press back to your downward facing dog. From here, you'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee and open up the hips. From here, feel that that leg is very heavy, especially the foot, and it's pulling you down at your hip. Optional from here to drop that leg behind you and lift your arm up for rock star pose. On your next inhale, you can come back to three-legged dog and exhale down to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, we'll go ahead and lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale to bend that knee. Feel that heel behind you, very heavy. Maybe you can feel space in that thigh. Option to lift your arm up and drop that foot behind you for rock star pose. On your next exhale, you can come back to your three-legged dog, back to your downward facing dog. You can pedal out through your feet again, give your hips a little shake out. And when you're ready, we'll hop or step forward. Sort of forward fold at the front of the mat. You fold a little bit more deeply this time. Maybe your knees aren't bent so much. Maybe your head is a little bit more, I don't know, straight down. On your next inhale, place hands on shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward and inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Water. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Arms are down at your side. Feet are glued to the ground. All four corners of the feet are gripping the mat. Inhale those arms up above for your head for Urdhva Hastasana. From here, melt those shoulders down your back. Check in with the ribs. Go ahead and tuck them back in. Check back in with those shoulder blades. Melt them down your back again. On your next exhale, we're gonna fold forward. Plant your, plant your hands, sure. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin into the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And then push back to down. Deep breath in downward facing dog. On your exhale, you can hop or step forward through the forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, gently rolling up to stand. Inhale your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin, or go through your vinyasa. Coming up for an upward facing dog or low cobra, and pushing back to a down dog. Nice deep breath in downward facing dog. On your exhale, you can hop or step forward to your forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins, nice long flat back, and exhale to fold forward. Inhaling, gently rolling up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, lift your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. On your exhale, you can fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long, flat back. Exhale, fold forward, planting your hands and stepping back to a plank pose. You can run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Deep breath in down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward and inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Checking in with all four corners of the feet. Lifting up in those arches. Releasing the shoulders down. We'll inhale the arms up into the air. Releasing the shoulder blades down the back, tucking the ribs in. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Nice deep breath in down dog. On your exhale, you can hop or step forward, forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to gently roll up to stand. Okay, we'll do one more like that. Inhaling your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. From here, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra, upward facing dog, pressing back to a down dog. Nice deep inhale here. And on your exhale, we'll hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, place the hands on shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward and inhale to gently roll up to stand. All right. Taking a deep breath here. I'm going to drink some water and we'll go through our flow. All right. All right. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Your feet can be hips width distance or wider, whatever you're comfortable with. Make sure you have a soft bend in the knee. You're not locking your knees. We'll start by inhaling the arms up above the head. Melting those shoulders down. And we'll just gently reach over both arms to the left. Then we'll inhale back to the center and gently reach both arms over to the right. So we'll come back center. We'll gently twist at the midsection. Your arms can be down or they can be at your hips. They can be in the air. You can't really see me, so I'm just twisting at the midsection to the left. And twisting at the midsection to the right. We'll come back to center. You can release your arms down. You can bring them to your hips. We're just going to tilt and tuck the pelvis a few times. And we're going to take the hips to the left and the right. They could be nice, minute movements. They can be big movements. That feels nice to go really drastically moving the hips back and forth. Do that. Same with tilting and tucking the pelvis. And then when you're ready, we're going to combine both movements. So we'll start by tucking that pelvis under, moving it to the right, tilting it back to the left, and then forward. So you can go ahead and create a diamond shape with these movements. And then when you're ready, you can turn that diamond shape into a nice circle. Your knees can take as much of the movement as you want, depending on how drastic you move your hips. And when you're ready to come to stillness, we'll do the same thing, but up to the opposite direction. Starting first with the diamond shape, tilting and tucking the pelvis under, and going out to the side. And then when you've made your diamond shape enough, you can just transform it into a nice circle. Again, it can be as drastic or as narrow as you want. Your knees can be involved, but they don't have to be. When you're satisfied that you've gone both directions and your hips are nice and awake and woken up, you can give your knees a little shake out. We'll release the hands to the side. We'll start by lifting the arms in the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Sighing the shoulders down the back here. We'll start with bending the knees, tucking that pelvis under like we're about to sit down in a chair, and pushing. I'm gonna just come up on my heels. If you can keep your heels on the ground, amazing. But if you can't, you can lift them up and come into chair pose. Tucking that pelvis under. Exhaling down, bringing your hands to the mat. Plant your hands, we'll step back to plank pose. From here, you can lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and press back to a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg in the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. From here, you'll get into a nice, sturdy, low lunge. And we're going to drop that back knee down. Glue the top of that back foot onto the mat. And feel a pulling between your heel and your knee in like a scissoring action to try and maintain balance. Pull that belly button into your spine and we'll lift the head, neck, and chest off the leg. From here, take that string and that belly button again and just pull it a little bit forward. And lift your arms into the air and gaze at your thumb for a gentle back bend. You can feel a stretch in that bicep, quadriceps in your thighs. That is ideal. Exhale to frame that front foot. We're going to tuck the back toes under and kick that back foot in until both heels are on the mat. Imagine I have a hook and I'm pulling that front hip backwards in space. And you're reaching your forehead towards your shin for runner's pose. From here, you're going to take both feet and kick them back to the back of the mat. Come into plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And press back to down dog. On your next inhale, we'll take the left leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hips. Swing that leg forward. Help it if you need to. Come into a nice, sturdy, low lunge here. Drop that back knee down. Glue the top of that back foot to the mat. And feel the heel and knee pull towards each other for a little bit of stability here. Inhale your head, neck, and chest off the mat. You can pull that belly button forward if that's available to you. And lift the arms up into the air. And gaze with the thumbs for a gentle back. Exhale, frame that front foot again. You can tuck those back toes under and kick that back foot up so that both of your heels are on the mat. Take a hook to that front hip and pull it back in space while you're reaching your forehead down to your shin. You can kick both feet backwards, come into your plank pose. Lower your knees, chest, and chin into your vinyasa. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and press back to a down. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, you can gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. So you're standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we'll lift the arms into the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, coming down into chair pose, tucking that tailbone under, reaching those arms forward, bending in the knee here. We'll take the hands to heart center. You can heel toe your feet together if that's more comfortable for you. We're going to just hook the elbow to the knee for our chair pose twists. Twisting in that midsection, pressing the knee against the elbow, palms against each other. On your next inhale, we'll come back to center, and then we'll exhale down to the other side. Twisting to the other side, twisting in that midsection, pressing that knee against the elbow, against the palms, palms against each other. And on your next inhale, you can come back to your chair pose and exhale to fold forward and plant your hands. Step back to your plank pose and lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and press back to a down. On your next inhale, you can lift your left leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Exhale, open up that hip, bend your knee, open up the hip, and swing the leg forward. Help it if you need to. From here, we'll drop that back heel. No, we won't. We'll keep that back heel up. Come into a nice, sturdy, low lunge here. And when you're ready, you can lift that head, neck, and chest up. So you're in your warrior one. Hips are pointed towards the front of the room. Arms are reaching out in front of you. On your next exhale, we're going to bring those arms back behind you, interlace your hands behind your back, and come down from humble warrior. On your next inhale, we'll press back to warrior one. Give your leg a little rest if you want. Press back to warrior one. Exhale to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back. Plank pose. Go ahead and run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And press back to a down. On your next inhale, you can lift that left leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Bend your knee and open up your hips. Swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. We'll come into a nice, sturdy, low lunge, whatever that means to you. And when you're ready, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. We'll come into a warrior one. Exhale, bringing your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers together, opposite thumb on top. And exhale down, bringing that shoulder to your knee for humble warrior. On your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior one. And you can frame that front foot, keep that foot back to meet the back so you're in plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. Turn a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can gently roll up the stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. And come into a mountain pose at the front of the mat. All right, standing in mountain pose, releasing your hands to the side. We'll lift the arms up into the air. Exhale to come into your chair pose, whatever that means to you. Make sure the tailbone is tucked under, nice and tight. We'll exhale to plant the hands and step back to our plank pose. From here, you can lower your knees, chest and chin, or run through your vinyasa. Inhale up for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and press back to down. On your next inhale, you can lift your right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knee, and swing that hip forward. Help it if you need to. Go ahead and rotate that back heel down. Make sure you've got a nice right angle in your front knee. And we'll windmill the arms up for warrior two. Reaching in both directions. Your knee is tracking over your second toe here. That outer edge of that back foot is glued to the mat. Flipping that front palm forward, up, reaching forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Not dumping any weight in this back arm, keeping that right angle in that front leg. On your next exhale, we'll go back to our warrior two. Straighten your front leg, come forward and down for triangle pose. You can come back into your warrior two. And then down to your side angle pose. From here, we can windmill the arms down, frame that front foot, hit that front foot back to meet the back, so you're in plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to mat. Inhale for low cobra, upward facing dog, and press back to your downward facing dog. Deep breath in, down dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. We're gonna rotate that back heel down, come to a nice right angle in that front knee, and then rotate the arms up, windmill the arms up for a warrior two. Go ahead and bring that front palm to the sky, reach forward, and then back to reverse your warrior. You can come back to your warrior two. Give that knee a break. Straighten out that leg. Come forward and down for triangle pose. On your next inhale, you can come back to your warrior two. And exhale down for side angle pose. Here we'll rotate those hands down to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back. So you're in your plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And press back to a downward facing dog. Deep breath in, down dog. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward to the forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, you can gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale those arms up in the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend those knees, tuck that tailbone under, and reach forward for chair pose. On your next exhale, you'll fold forward, plant your hands, and step back to your plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And exhale, pressing back to down dog. Inhaling the right leg into the air for three-legged dog, bending the knee, opening up those hips, and exhaling that foot forward, helping it if you need to, so you're in a low lunge. Rotating that back heel down and windmilling the arms up for warrior two. Bringing that palm forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Coming back to warrior two and down to triangle pose. Back to warrior two and down to side angle. From here, we'll go ahead and windmill those arms down, so we're in a wide-legged forward fold at the side of the mat. You can walk those fingertips behind you if you want to get a little bit deeper of a stretch here. You can walk those fingertips forward. You want to come into a nice long flat back. From here, we'll heel toe the feet in, so they're still pretty wide. We'll come into a nice wide squat. So as long as both your heels are down, you can lower your bum. And press your hands to the ground, press your bum into the air, and walk yourself over and come back into your downward facing dog. We'll roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and press back to a down dog. From here, we'll lift that left leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Bend your knee, open your hips up, and swing it forward. Help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down and windmill the arms up for a warrior two. Bring that palm forward to reverse your warrior. Exhale for warrior two. Inhale to release the knee and exhale down for triangle pose. Inhaling back to warrior two and exhaling down to side angle pose. Windmilling the arms down again, so you're in a wide-legged forward fold on the side of the mat. This time we'll heel toe the feet together as close as you want to come into your normal squat. If your heels can stay on the ground, amazing. If not, they pop up like mine, that's okay. You can put anything to support yourself underneath those heels if that feels nice to you. And release your hands back down to the mat. You can push your booty back in the air. Make our way around to a plank pose. You can run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And exhale back to a down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we'll roll up to stand. So you're standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Excuse me. Okay, come into some balancing poses. I'm gonna go ahead and go into treat. You can start by waking up the bottom of your feet. Not that they're not awake already. Really feel those four corners of the feet beneath you. And then you can either kickstand that heel to the ankle, press your foot against your calf, or really bring your heel into your inner thigh. As long as your foot doesn't touch your knee, your hands can be on your hips at heart center or branches blowing in the breeze. You can find something in front of you that's stationary to focus on, can help you balance. From here, you can remove your foot from your leg. You can reach that knee towards the front. Extend the leg out, lift a little higher, maybe a little higher, maybe a little higher, and then let it down. Give a little massage to that standing leg's outer muscle there. And if you feel like all four corners of the opposite foot are awake, you can press those four corners into the mat and kickstand that heel to the bottom of the foot. You can place your foot against your leg or press your heel against the inside of your inner thigh. Hands can be at heart center, they can be on your hips, they can be branches blowing in the breeze. You can find something stationary to stare at to help you balance. And when you're ready, you can remove that leg from your foot, or foot from your leg. Reach that knee to the front, extend your leg out, lift that leg a little high, a little high, a little higher, and let it go. Give a massage to that standing leg, outer muscle here. Kick out your legs, and we'll come back to our mountain pose at the front of the mat. From here, we'll lift the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for low cobra or upward facing dog and pressing back to a down dog. From here, we'll lift the right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Bend the knee, swing the shin forward, and set up for pigeon pose. Make sure that back leg is straight back behind you like a pin. Give yourself any support you may need, lifting that head, neck, and chest up, and then sighing it down to the mat. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. You can remove any props you may have. You can bring yourself into a tabletop pose. Maybe give your hips a little shake back and forth. Tuck those toes under, pressing back to downward facing dog. From here, you can roll forward to plank, run through your vinyasa, lowering your knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhaling for low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down. On your next inhale, you can lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog, bend the knees, swing that shin forward, and set yourself up for pigeon pose. Making sure that back leg is straight behind you, giving yourself any props you may need, lifting that chest up, and coming down to pigeon pose. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Get rid of any props you may have. Step back into your tabletop pose. Give your hips a little shake out. You can press into downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank and then lower yourself down in one motion. When you're ready, you can roll onto your back. And we'll start just by windshield wipering the knees back and when you're ready for your knees to come to stillness, you can bring your heels so they just about, your fingertips just about graze them. You can bring them so they're about hips width distance apart. And from right now, we'll just kind of work on tilting and tucking the tailbone for a few times. And then when you're ready, we'll tuck that tailbone under, lift it into the air. You can rotate your shoulder blades underneath you and interlace your hands behind your back. Take 3 to 5 good breaths in bridge pose. You can release your hands, release your shoulders, release your spine back down to the mat. Give your legs a windshield wiper back and forth. When you're ready, you can tuck and tilt your pelvis a few times. And when you're ready, you can tuck that pelvis under, lift up into bridge pose. You can bring those shoulder blades underneath you and interlace your hands behind your back if you want. You can take 3 to 5 good breaths here. And when you're ready, you can release your hands, release your spine back down to the mat. Windshield wiper your legs back and forth. When you're ready to come to stillness, you can tilt and tuck your tailbone a few times. Tuck that tailbone under, lift the hips into the air, and come into your final bridge pose. You can interlace those hands behind your back if you'd like. And you can release your hands, release your shoulder blades down your back, release each of your vertebrae down to the mat, and we'll windshield wiper out those knees back and forth. And then go ahead and hug those knees into the chest nice and tight. You can rock back and forth here. You can do your knees in circles to give yourself a little low back massage. And when you're ready, we'll drop the left leg down to the mat. We'll just hold the right leg in nice and tight to the chest. Keeping that leg nice and vertical and parallel to the mat. We're just going to open that knee up to the same side as leg. And then you can just bring that leg across the body and keep the hips where they are. It's okay if they pop off the mat. And then go back to the center. Now we're going to take that left foot, place it onto the mat, take that right ankle and place it on the left knee. Lift that left foot into the air. Both knees should be bent and feet should be flexed. From here, you grab the back of that left thigh and bring it closer to your body. At the same time, pressing your left leg away from you with your left elbow. If you're happy here, stay. If you are still not feeling a stretch, you can gently rock back and forth until you find a spot that's maybe a little bit more sore, a little bit more stuck, that maybe needs a little bit more breath. Maybe you need to pull your thigh into your chest a little tighter. Just send a few breaths to that area. And when you're finished with that, you can release the back of your thigh, release your foot back down to the mat. The left leg, grab with your hands and hold up to your chest like a tiny baby. Release your right leg, or sorry, left leg. Whatever knee is bent, hold it like a baby. Whatever your other leg is doing, release it in. Pull this leg up nice and tight. Hopefully you feel a stretch in your quads. We're going to take the same hand as that leg and grab the outer edge of the foot or the ankle or the knee, whatever is most comfortable to you. And we're just going to bring that foot out to the side. The knee can be bent. Mine's at a right angle. It could be straightened. If you want to grab somewhere else on your leg, that's fine. Then we're going to pass that foot into the opposite hand and bring that leg over the body. Your hip can come up here if you want. And then pass it gently to that other hand, open out to the side. And bend the leg back into the body. You can hug it into the chest nice and tightly. We'll go ahead and release it down. Grab the opposite leg into your chest nice and tight, parallel with the mat. And we're going to open it out to the side, same side as leg, just opening out that hip. And on your next exhale, we're going to bring that leg across the body, keeping both sit bones where they are, just feeling the leg cross the body. And we'll bring it back to the center. We'll bend the opposite foot, place that opposite knee, place that foot on the mat. Bring your ankle to your knee and lift that leg up in the air. Figure 4, going around the thigh with your hands and pressing the opposite knee away from you with your elbow. If you're happy here, you can stay. If you haven't found a spot yet that's a little bit more sore or stuck, you can rotate. You can bring that thigh into your body a little closer. You can rock back and forth. Anything you need to do to find where it needs to be stretched. And when you're ready, you can grab that bent knee with your hands and release your leg down. I'm gonna hold it like a little baby, nice and tight to your chest. Then when you're ready, you want to grab the same hand as foot. Grab the outer edge of the foot or the ankle or the knee and just stretch the leg out. Your knee can be bent or your leg can be straight. Now we're gonna take that foot and pass it to the opposite hand, reaching that leg across the body. Your hip can come off the mat here. And then passing it back to the center. Hugging both knees into the chest again, nice and tight. Rocking back and forth here. And when you're ready, we'll just drop the knees to one side and come into your gentle twist. Placing your hands at your knee, opposite arm can be stretched out to the side or in a cartoon cactus. Gaze can be at the ceiling or over your opposite shoulder. Your next inhale, you can bring your knees back to your chest, hug them in nice and tight. And when you're ready, you can drop them over to the other side. Come into your gentle twist on the opposite side. When you're ready, you can roll back to center. Hug those knees into the chest nice and tight. Rock back and forth. You can bring your knees into little circles. Give yourself a little back massage. And when you're ready, we'll reach for the insoles of the feet and we'll come into a happy baby. You can work on bringing those knees into your armpits. You can rock back and forth. You can work on bringing one leg out at a time. When you're ready, you can release your feet from your hands. You can release your legs down to the mat. Release your arms to your sides and let all of your hard work melt into your muscles and bones as you slide into Shavasana. You can begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Make small movements in your fingers and toes. Roll onto one side and using your arm as a pillow, take a breath in the fetal position. Using that same slow quality of movement, you can come up to a comfortable seat. We'll close with one Om. Hands to heart center. We'll inhale for Om. Om. Namaste.